What's up, everybody, and welcome to Johnny K Picks. And today I'll be going over all of the fights for UFC Mexico, Moreno versus Usyk. Now, first, before we get started, please hit that like button for me and subscribe if you're new or if you just haven't. And don't forget to turn on those notifications so you know when I put out my videos. I try to put them out early on Sundays. And also when we go live on Wednesday nights for Defend Your Units, all that good stuff. So last night was UFC London, or yesterday during the day, however, wherever time zone you're at. Yeah, didn't do great. It was a very rough card for my picks. It was a rough card from my bets. I lost 2.41 units. I did have Fletcher moneyline bet. I was pretty confident in that. I did think he won that fight. Thought he won rounds 2 and 3. Round 1 was even close, that you could have probably gave it to Fletcher. You could make a debate for it, but I thought he did more. I didn't think Loughran really did a lot with his takedowns. No damage, no nothing. It was just cage pushing, took him down. Fletcher got back up, and then Fletcher started striking more. So I don't know what I don't know what the criteria is anymore, I guess. So it is what it is. Kind of reminds me of the Dolgari and Christian Rodriguez fight, who we're going to talk about here shortly, where he won that fight, where he was out controlled, but Rodriguez landed one knee and won a round. But Fletcher couldn't do that in round 3 when he landed like 10 shots right up last 30 seconds. So done debating about that one. I'm still a little salty, as you can see, but it is what it is. Like I said, minus 2.41 units, but it's a new card. It's a new day. It's a new dawn, however that song goes. And let's get going. Let's just forget about it, because we all have those bad nights. And yeah, let's do it. UFC Mexico. Let me get to the thing here. We got 13 fights, so that's always a cool thing. And there was a lot of cancellations and withdrawals and fizzled outs, and they switched a lot of fights around, but it is what it is. We got 13 though, so let's do it. So Austin Hubbard versus, let's see, Marquel Mederos. Let me get to here. So we got Hubbard, well-rounded guy. Good striker. He does have some power in his hands. He does have some wrestling that he can use in grappling. His takedown defense is pretty good. He's just good. He's just okay everywhere. Not really great anywhere. He does have solid cardio, and he is durable. I would say those are probably his best traits. But we have Mederos. He's a good striker. He throws tons of volume. He has good power in his hands. He can mix in the wrestling if need be, but he is primarily a striker. Good striking defense too. Doesn't really get hit too much. And he has good takedown defense. So I'm going to go with Mederos here. I think he's just the better fighter. I know he is fairly newer in the UFC. He had one fight, and he did look good in that fight. But, Hubbard is that journeyman guy who's, just like I said, just good everywhere, not great anywhere. He can make some, poor choices with his grappling, because he has been submitted that, I think it was, against Kurt Holloway. But yeah, I like Mederos here. I'm going to say by decision, but I think probably decision, because Hubbard is very tough and durable. I think he'll be there for all 3 rounds. Maybe he does mix in some wrestling, or try to anyways, and that will make the fight go a little bit longer. So give me Mederos to win by decision for this fight. Next one we got going to be, it skipped on me, Jamall Emmers versus Gabriel Miranda. Get that out of here. So we got Emmers, well-rounded guy, good striking. He does have good wrestling, good takedown defense. I know in his last fight, he got KO'd by Nate the Train. He also lost that Jack Jenkins split, which I did think he won that fight, but that was close. So it's been off and on for him. Win one, lose one of those things. But he is a solid fighter. He hadn't made a poor fight IQ choice there in the Pat Sabatini fight, where he rocked him. He probably should have got the win there. So some of these wins, if you really look at him, you're like, well, he could have probably should have won, but he just either made a bad choice or just bad judging. And then we have Gabriel Miranda, who's a very good grappler. He's got good takedowns. He does have very good submissions. He does like to brawl it out on the feet. He does have, he can get knocked out though. His chin isn't the greatest, but it's not terrible. He is tough though. He sticks it out as long as he can, but like I said, he can be hittable and he can fade as the fight goes on. So, I'm gonna go with Emmers here. I think he's the better striker. um, I don't think this fight will get to the mat unless Miranda somehow gets it there, but Emmers has pretty good wrestling to stop that. And if there is any takedowns, I think it's going to come from the Emmers side, but I don't think he needs to. Emmers doesn't really wrestle either. So that kind of bothers me, like when fighters have pretty good wrestling and they just don't really do it as often as you'd like. But on the feet, though, I think he's better on the feet. If there is a brawl, I would trust Emmers a little bit more. But overall, the better fighter, I think it's Emmers. So give me Emmers to win. I am gonna say by knockout. I'm gonna say late second knockout when Miranda starts to fade a little bit. It's gonna be a fun first round. Miranda is dangerous early though, so that's something that Emmers needs to worry about. He's been clipped early a couple times, I believe, or finished, but that was 3 years ago. But yeah, give me Emmers to win. I'm gonna say late second or early third round KO. I like it. Next one we got is going to be Rafa Garcia versus Vince Pichel. So Rafa, well-rounded fighter, solid striking, does have decent power, good wrestling and grappling if he wants to use it. He's got good cardio. He's very durable. Another one of those guys where he does everything good, but he doesn't do anything amazing. I think he's a little bit better than Austin Hubbard kind of guy. Maybe he does everything above average well, but he just doesn't do anything like elite amazing. But he's always a good fighter, and he's always tough and durable. He's going to stick it out in every fight. Then we also got a tough and durable guy who's going to stick it out in every fight too. And Vince, solid striker. He's got decent power. He can wrestle as well. He's very durable. He's very tough. But the one thing is his takedown defense is terrible. He gets taken down easily. He's 42 years old now. He's not like he's quitting in these fights. I know he's losing to guys. He lost to Mark Madsen, which isn't the greatest, and then Ishmael, who's pretty solid younger guy. I think Rafa wins this one. I'm going to say by decision, though, because Vince is super tough. He's super durable. He can mix in some wrestling, too. Garcia's takedown defense is pretty good. I wouldn't say it's awful, but Vince's is bad. So if Rafa gets in any kind of trouble on the feet, he can go to the wrestling. And I think he'll be able to keep Vince down for the majority of it. So we'll see. But I think this will be a fun fight. I do like Rafa to win. I'm going to say by decision. I know he's a big favorite. I think he wins, but Vince, he's a dog. So, but he's 42, and the 42-year-old dog, to me, it's like, it's tough to back. But give me Garcia by decision. Let's see. Next one we got is going to be Julia Pilastri. If I can click this, versus Lupita Godinez. So Pilastri, she's a well-rounded fighter. She's got solid striking. She does like to mix in the wrestling and grappling. I think she's better at that personally. She does have good cardio. She's very strong and durable. She's never been finished. She lost all of her 4 losses by decision. She did look good against Corey McKenna, even though that was a split. I don't think it should have been a split. I think she won pretty unanimously, but I can't remember if that was over in London or something like that, whatever. And then the Josephine Knudsen fight was a very close fight too. But it looked like, I think if I remember correctly, I think she just didn't look all that great because she couldn't get the takedowns, but whatever, it is what it is. But we got Lupita Godinez, well-rounded fighter herself, solid wrestling when she uses it, good boxing. She's very strong as well. She got good takedown defense. She's got good takedowns when she decides to use it. Her thing is she makes terrible fight IQ decisions, and her game plans are not the greatest sometimes. But in this fight, I think she's the better striker. I don't think she needs to worry about wrestling. Now watch, she's going to go and try to wrestle, and she should win this fight by decision. Both these girls aren't really the finishers, especially Lupita. She wins decisions, or she's going to lose decision because she's durable too. So the over 2.5, I like this one as a super easy parlay piece, if you want to say. And even though I said that last week with the Bannon Tumar fight, but it is what it is. The head kick sub and whatever. But this one, both girls are durable. I think it goes to decision, and I'm going to go with Loopy to get it done. Just the better boxing. I think she'll stuff the takedowns if Julia tries, and Julia, like I think it was a Josephine fight. She just got very frustrated as the fight went on because she couldn't really get any takedowns, and Josephine was just piecing her up on the feet, and so she just kind of like said one of those like, well, whatever. So, but give me Loopy by decision though. Next one we got is gonna be Milk Costa versus Christian, the prospect killer Rodriguez. I wish that was his nickname, but it isn't. In this one, we got Milk Costa, which we just saw him about a month ago now. And he looked very good. He's a well-rounded guy, very good striking, good leg kicks. He's a good kickboxer. He's got very good grappling and submissions, as you saw in this last fight. His takedowns aren't the greatest, but he can get those takedowns if need be. But like I said, very durable, good striking. But we got Christian Rodriguez, who's also well-rounded too. He's got good technical striking, decent power in the hands, good cardio, always durable. Takedown defense isn't the greatest, but he does have a good get-up game, good cardio as well. Yeah, this is a close fight, and I'll tell you right now, any Christian Rodriguez fight, I cannot pick right. Whether I pick him or pick against him, can't do it, won't do it. So I'm just going to go with Milk Costa to win because he's an underdog. I think this fight is close. On the feet, it's close everywhere, to be honest. And I'm going to go with the dog. I think this is a 50-50 fight. I'm not going to put any extra emphasis on Costa's win against Fili. That was a good win. I know it's a recency bias, but I think he can give Christian some problems, but Christian can give Milk some problems too. So close fight. Not going to bet it whatsoever, but I do like Costa to win. And also, you know what? I do think Costa is a little bit more dangerous. Let's put it that way. I think he's good. I think he's more dangerous, but Christian is very durable. And Christian did get subbed by Erosa. I'm gonna throw it out there. But like I said, I'm probably gonna stay away from this fight. So I'll go with Costa to win by a very close decision. But staying away because I just cannot pick Christian Rodriguez fights right. Hence the Isaac Dolgarian reference in earlier on in the show. Next one we got gonna be I'm gonna butcher his name probably. Etaba Gutierrez versus Jose Medina. So we got Etaba making his UFC debut. He is 22, almost 23 years old. He's a very good striker, very athletic, very dangerous, super quick hands, good kicks. But the thing is, if he doesn't get that first round KO, he does tend to slow down in the cardio, all that good stuff, just like normal guys that only have 7 fights on their record that's used to finishing every fight in the first round. But he is super, super young, like I said, and just doesn't really have the experience yet. And he doesn't really have a ground game. So he wants to definitely keep this on the feet. But he is very, very dangerous. Jose Medina, though, solid striker. He's durable. He's got good ground and pound if he gets to fight to the mat with his takedowns, decent takedowns. He can be hittable, though, on the feet, but like I said, he's super durable. He's super tough, good cardio for 3 rounds. So if Medina survives round 1 and it gets over to maybe a round and a half, I think he's live to win this fight. But I don't know if it's going to make it there. So not betting this fight whatsoever. I think this is dog or pass written all over it. We got Etaba, who's super young, not experienced, used to getting that first round KO. And Medina, I believe, has never been finished in his career. Oh, he's been subbed once. So I don't think Etaba is going to get that sub. So I'm going to pick him still. I'm going to go with his probably most, the way that he would probably win more times than that would be by KO. I'm going to say first round KO, but staying away from this fight again. I don't trust any of these UFC debut guys who's making their UFC debut, but with very limited experience and up against a pretty decent guy. So obviously there's guys maybe on this card that I like a little bit more who's making their UFC debut, but not this one. I'll let this one play out. So give me Etiba to win by, let's just say, knockout, and we'll just move on from that one. Next one should be a fun one. Edgar Chairez versus CJ Vergara. Now, let's get to this one. Chairez, solid striker. He does have good power. He's very durable. He likes to push forward with good leg kicks. His takedown defense, though, isn't the greatest, but he does have good scrambles to get back up, good BJJ, good grappling, and does have good submissions. He can slow down a little bit as the fight goes on, mainly like in round 3, but he's usually good for like 2 rounds at the very least. But he's not going to like quit. He's not going to death gas or anything. He just slows down a bit. CJ is a solid striker. He likes to push forward. He does have okay wrestling and grappling that he can use. He's pretty durable. We have seen him get knocked out a couple times recently. Once was against Timurov. He also got knocked down a couple times in the Lacerda fight. But he's a solid guy, one of those guys where he just does everything pretty good and he doesn't really do anything amazing. I'm going to go with Chairez, though. I think he's more dangerous. I think he can get the KO. I think he can get a submission as well. I don't trust CJ's chin all that much, especially against power puncher guys. And I think Edgar is. Now, if the later the fight goes, maybe Vergara has a chance to pull it off in the round 3, but the first 2 rounds, I mean, it's going to be dangerous for CJ. So give me Chairez to win. I'm going to say by second round finish. I'm going to say KO, but I can see maybe like a club and sub, though. Maybe if CJ gets rocked, he kind of gets dropped, and then Edgar goes for a guillotine because he does have a very good guillotine, or like a darts choke, some kind of front choke, and he gets it that way. So I like Edgar round 2 finish, but I'll just say KO, and we'll go from there. Next one, another one, fun one, very close fight, I think. Ronaldo Rodriguez versus Kevin Barajas. And let me get to there. We got Ronaldo. He's a very good striker with power. He does like to push forward. He is a little hittable. Sometimes he can get a little wild and crazy, but durable, can take a punch. He does have a pretty decent ground game, as we saw in his last fight against O'Day, and also against Bandar, but Bandar's a fraud, so it is what it is. But he is mainly a striker. He wants to keep it on the feet, and he did have a good fight against O'Day. But then we got Kevin. Just lost my spot. Kevin, he's a solid striker. He throws tons of volume. He likes to push forward. Takedown defense, though, it's pretty good. And he's very durable. He does have good cardio. He's a classic Peruvian fighter where they're super durable, have good cardio, and they box, and box. His last fight, I know he didn't look all that great against Costa, but Costa was able to touch up the feet, and then he ran into a buzzsaw against Joshua Van. So this fight is going to be close, I think, but I'm going to go with Rodriguez. I think he can mix in some wrestling if need be. I don't think Kevin's going to be the one doing that. Ronaldo is durable. I think he can land the more impactful shots, if you will. Kevin is more technical. So maybe he lands a little bit more volume, but it's going to be one of those close fights where it's going to go to the judges, and the judges are going to have to determine whether they liked damage, whether they liked cage pushing, whether they liked whatever they were watching. So I don't hate anybody taking a shot on Kevin, but I'm going to go with Ronaldo to win. I just think he squeaks out a very close decision. Both guys are durable. Maybe look at the overs. Maybe look at the plus 3.5 on the Kevin side. But this is going to be a close one. We'll see. I'm debating what I want to see, but I got to see the props for a bet, maybe. Next one, we got David Martinez versus Saimon Oliveira. The return of Saimon Oliveira. Hasn't fought in about 2 years. But let's see where we're at. David Martinez making his UFC debut. He's a very good striker. He's got good power, good footwork. He's 26 years old. Good leg kicks. He's got good takedown defense. He can mix in some wrestling. He's well-rounded, but he's mainly going to be a striker. And then we got Oliveira, who's a very good grappler. He's got very good submissions. He loves his guillotines. Let's put it that way. I think he tried 9 guillotines, it seemed like, against Tony Gravely, which was a little wild, but he didn't get it. But he kept trying. But he does have solid takedowns. He can be taken down fairly easily. That's probably because he wants to be taken down. I think he likes to grapple. That's his bread and butter. But I love David Martinez in this fight. I know he's making his UFC debut and his line is a little heavy. He's a heavy favorite. But this is the one where I feel confident enough to say this is a good parlay piece. And I think he gets this one done. I don't think Oliveira is all that great. The only way Oliveira wins this fight is if he gets a guillotine. So I think David's going to, if David just comes in there and just doesn't get taken down, he's going to outstrike Oliveira all day and win this very easily. But I'm going to go David Martinez by KO in the second round. He just don't shoot a takedown. Don't get taken down. Stay on the feet. You will win this fight 9 out of 10 times every day. Every day. 9 out of 10 times every day. So that's an easy one for me. And I like that as a parlay piece. Next one, we got Raul Rosas Jr. versus Vince Morales. Vince Morales just fought about, a month ago. But Rosas Jr. is an amazing grappler, good wrestler. He did like to push forward a lot and go for the wrestling. But his striking is a work in progress. It is slightly getting better in every one of his fights. He's only 20 years old, guys. I know it seems like he's been in the UFC for like 3 or 4 years, but he basically has been in the UFC for 3 years. He does make mistakes from time to time, but he's very durable. He's got good cardio and very good wrestling and grappling, which I do think he can get this going on Vince Morales, who's a solid striker. He does have some power in his hands. He's not much of a wrestler. He does like to push forward, but he can wrestle. I don't think he's going to. Can't check any leg kicks. His takedown defense isn't great, which is bad news. And he can slow down a little bit as the fight goes on. But he did have a good fight against, I think it was Elijah Smith. But Smith was just the better striker. Now he's fighting someone who's going to be the better wrestler, grappler. So it's a totally different fight. He's only had about maybe 3 weeks to prepare for this, maybe something like that, because he fought 4 or 5 weeks ago. I'm going to go with Rosas Jr. to win. He is a minus 300 favorite, and I know it doesn't look great. In his last fight, too, he did get the win against Aori Kulang, but I think he gets this one done. I think he's going to actually wrestle and grapple Vince, which Rosas Jr. wasn't able to do too much in his last fight. But this fight, I think he will. I think he'll get the sub. I'm going to say second or third round sub. Not going to be early sub, I don't think. But Rosas Jr. gets this one done. They keep giving him good fights, and I think he... this is one I think he should win. Let's be honest. If he wrestles and grapples, if he doesn't, he probably ain't gonna win. So next one, we got Kelvin Gastelum versus Joe Pyfer. And this one, we all know who Kelvin is. He's been around for a while. He's a well-rounded guy, good power on the feet. He's very durable, solid takedowns and takedown defense. He's just a little inconsistent. He had a good win against Daniel Rodriguez, but let's be honest, Daniel Rodriguez isn't the old Daniel Rodriguez, who was pretty decent. But he is always, like I said, always durable, always going to fight for your money, never going to give up. But then Joe Pyfer, very dangerous striker. He's got crazy power in his hands once he throws them. He does have good wrestling that he really hasn't used that much, which he should, mix in from time to time, I think. He did win his last fight against Andre Barriault. It was a knockout. And I think it's something along the lines can happen here. We've seen Kelvin get dropped a few times in, I don't know about recently, but he has been rocked a lot. He has taken a lot of damage. There's been a lot of wars. And I just think Joe Pyfer is going to be bigger, stronger, has the wrestling. I think Kelvin's going to have to try to crack Joe Pyfer's chin to win this fight. And that's a tough ask. Let's put it that way. But we'll see. I'm going to go with Joe Pyfer to win. I'm going to say decision, though, because Kelvin is very dangerous, but it wouldn't shock me if there's a KO on either side. But I'm going to say Joe would get the KO more so. But give me Joe Pyfer to win. I'm going to say a decision win. I think it'll be a fun fight. Maybe Kelvin gets rocked and dropped once, but he does have pretty good recoverability. And he's very durable and very tough. You don't want to question his toughness. Co-main, which is going to be interesting for however long it will last. Manel Torres versus Drew Dober. So Torres is a very explosive, dynamic striker. He's got good elbows, good kicks, powerful hands. I wouldn't say he's the most technical. He just runs head first and goes for the kill. That's his style. He does have sneaky guillotines and chokes, though. He doesn't really grapple, but he can get the submissions, though. Tons of early finishes and early losses. His cardio is a question mark after like a round and a half. Drew Dober, powerful striker, good boxing. He does have quick hands. He's very durable. Good cardio. He has 3 rounds of cardio. He can mix in some wrestling, but he probably won't. He pushes forward and he looks for those haymakers. He likes to back his opponents up against the cage and then just tee off. We have seen his durability waning a little bit with that chin. So that does worry me here a little bit, because this is going to be this is a 50-50 fight. And I know Manel, it could be a little bit more explosive, but I would say Drew is more durable and he has power that he could back up to. And Manel, it's not like Manel has the biggest chin either. He got knocked out against Bahamondes. I'm going to go with Drew Dober. I know he's a slight dog. I'm going to go with him. I'm going to trust the durability more so than the cardio if the longer the fight goes. I think this fight may or may not go over 1.5. I'm going to shoot for the under, but I think Drew Dober can get a knockout early too. It's not just Torres here. Torres is wild and crazy and he leaves his head up. He doesn't really have striking defense. He hopes to knock you out before you knock him out. Drew Dober can take a couple good shots before and give back a couple good, but I just don't know if Torres can, take those shots. I know Drew Dober probably can, but we'll see. It's going to be a fun fight. I like the under 1.5 more so than playing aside. But I'm going to go with Drew Dober to win by late first round KO. I don't think this fight gets into the second, personally, one way or another. I think both guys are going to go for it. I think, especially Torres, he's going to go for it, and it's going to be up to Drew if he's going to catch him with a counter or something crazy, or Manel's going to catch him. That's how I see it. And we got the main event, Brandon the Lego Man Assassin Baby versus Steve Michael Scott Erceg. And Brandon Moreno, we all know this guy. Very good striker, good boxing. He's very tough. He does have some wrestling and grappling he can use. Sometimes he can be a little hittable, but like I said, very durable. 5 rounds of cardio. He's tough to get out of there. And then Steve Erceg, he's a very good grappler. He does have good striking as well, good submissions, good takedowns. He does have power in his hands too, but he can be hittable. He got cracked against Kai Kara France. He also lost to close fight to Pantoja, but I'm going to go with Brandon Moreno. I think he's got the better striking. He's fought the better competition. He's been at the top for however long, probably 3 or 4 years. He's still 31 years old. I know he's been in some wars, but this is another tough test for Erceg. Like, if you go back and really look at the competition, if I can get out of here. If you go back and look at the competition that Erceg fought in the UFC, like Alexander Costa fight was a pretty decent close fight. He fought Dvorak, which was on the decline in his debut. Matt Schnell, and then he went to Pantoja, and then he went to Kai Kara. Now he's going to Brandon Moreno. To me, that's insane. And I think it's just too much too soon. Like, he needs a little bit more of a little steps than big steps. Like, I wish he would have fought somebody. I know he's at the top of the division now for whatever reason, but man, it's a tough ask for Steve. But I got to go Brandon Moreno. I'm pretty confident in this one. I think he gets it done either by decision or maybe he catches him late. But usually, Moreno's not really like a finisher by any means. I know he did get that liver kick. Ooh, the liver kick to Kai Kara recently, but that was like 2.5 years ago. He's not really a finisher, but he's going to stay there and probably pick apart Steve Erceg for about 5 rounds. So give me Erceg. I'm sorry, give me Moreno. Dang, it's early, guys, to win by decision. But all right, guys, that is it. That is all 13 fights for UFC Mexico. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Please let me know what your predictions are and how you think I did with my picks. I know don't tell me how I did last week. I know how I did. It was terrible. It was trash. I'm looking to get back on track here. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. Check out my Patreon, patreon.com/JohnnyKPicks. I put out all my early UFC content, any other bets that I do, cheat sheets. I do like survivor pools for UFC, and I did a NCAA bracket thing, but you can't join now. I do stuff like that. So if you want to join for free, you can, or if you want to support me, you can also do that as well. And Wednesday night, obviously, check me out on Defend Your Units. So I'll have another special guest, and we will tell you our bets. So we've been a little bit down on the bets, but we're going to get back on track again. That's what we do. But take care. Good luck to everybody in their picks and bets. Until next time, happy